Greg, coming off the first game, 5-0 win, going into Colorado, you expect a hungrier, more desperate Rapids team. What's been your message to the guys?
I think, first of all, I think it's a luxury and a little bit unrealistic at this time of the year that you get 5-0 wins. It's a product of playing very well, doing a lot of little things right over the course of the game, getting our opportunities, but we need to suspect a very different game when we go there, and obviously it wasn't that long ago that we played in Colorado. We're expecting a more aggressive team, a more physical team, a team that's going to try to disrupt us a lot more, and so just being prepared for that. So it's just again, the problems that we need to solve in the day are going to be the problems. They're either going to come pressing really hard, right, or they're going to try to protect themselves a little bit and hurt us in the counter. But I suspect it's going to be the first, and that they'll come pretty hard and see if they can't disrupt it and get something early on and see if they can get some momentum in this thing. But we just have to be ready for the game, and like I said, solve the problems that are presented to us, and try to create our opportunities on the other side, whichever way that is. It's through possessions or through transitions or fast attacks, whatever that looks like. It's creating opportunities on the other side. So it'll be up for them ultimately, in my view, to choose how the game is going to be played, and then we have to answer.
In the old days, a 5-0 first leg win, second leg, you're pretty much, hey, just don't.
I miss those days.
I miss those days. But the challenge now, when it's a new game, it's almost like
Sure.
the slate is sort of wiped clean a little bit. I mean, how does that affect your preparation, or does it affect your preparation?
Yeah, each of these is one game at a time. There's never been a more, I think, true kind of statement in the playoff scenario that's not knockout. But when you're playing three games, first game you win it, that's great. You put that on your belt. But this is going to be a completely new game and a completely new environment. And both teams will have looked back at this last game and said, okay, what do we like? What do we not like? What do we expect? And try to prepare our groups for what's to come. But it just takes one result for them to be right back in this thing. And so it's just a one game at a time, and you got to play each game as it comes to you, and you got to play each game to solve the problems of the day and to get the result at the end of the day.
What didn't you like from the first game?
Yeah, again, I just think we have to be just mindful of moments where we are, if we're losing balls in between our lines. Again, a team that plays on the counter. I think we've got to be mindful of certainly possessions in our half of the field as we go there again. There was a lot of things I liked. I mean, when you have a game that you give up one shot from 30 yards out the entire game, and I think we only had a couple or a few goal kicks, which means we didn't have a lot of possession starting deep in our half of the field. There's a lot of positives in that, but I also think that we had to earn that on the day, and you've got to earn that with each game, depending on, again, how they approach the game, right? So there's a lot of things to like about the last game, but there's also a lot of things that I think we need to clean up based on other games that we've played against them, and then we just need to keep moving forward and being solution oriented based on how they choose to play us.
Hey Greg, thanks for your time. This is a Colorado team with their back against the wall. Literally,
Sure.
Their season could be over. Are you expecting a much more physical game, being that everything's on the line, like nothing is past tomorrow or Friday at that point?
Yeah, I expect a more physical approach from them. I think trying to get closer to the ball, getting more into guys' space. But there's a cost at each one of these scenarios, right? The more they press us, the more space that there could be on the other side of the press. That we have proven in all of these games that we can take advantage of that. If they try to protect themselves and try to protect against the speed that we have, we've got to be smart in how we play a game in that way and not lose balls in bad positions and make sure that we are managing transitions and all those kinds of things. So I suspect that like nobody goes out laying down, so they're going to come out and I'm sure impose themselves and try to disrupt the game in the best way that they see that they can. And in order to try to give themselves the best opportunity to score goals as well, because again, they didn't create a lot of opportunities in the last game, and so there has to be, from their perspective, whether that's just personnel or approach. Those are things that they'll figure out on their side, and we've got to be ready for whatever that looks like.
And then since they're with their back against the wall last game potentially, do you anticipate having to see Cole Bassett or Mihailovic in this one?
Tough to say, just because I don't know the severity of their injuries. I think if either of them is remotely possible to play, I think that they would be out there just because they're competitors and they're warriors and they're going to want to be on the field. But I don't know the severity of Cole's injury, which was like the day before, I think, the match the other day. And I don't know how bad the ankle issue was of Mihailovic, but I will assure you if he can walk and run and do the basics, he probably want to be on the field. So our expectation is that those guys will be there, and then we still got to execute and be mindful of whoever they put on the field, because each guy brings certain qualities to the game for their team, right? So we just have to be aware of all possibilities.
Yeah. Go ahead, Josh. I thought I saw Josh. If not, we can go with Alex.
Josh is there. I don't see if he...
Go ahead, Alex.
Hey Greg, just thank you for your time. Just wanted to ask you about, we just talked to Emilio Garces right before you, just how important is it, have the traits that he has, the strengths that he has, very much different from the other center backs. How important is that for this group in the playoffs now?
Yeah, like I said, during the course of the season, if we could really get him up to speed, he has such different qualities that to the rest of our group to complement the rest of our group. And so, finally, towards the end, we're able to get him really match fit, get him healthy, get him out there to gain some experience. And everybody sees the qualities that he brings, the athleticism, the confidence on his side to defend one-on-one and to defend in open space. And he's grown, I think, in his ball usage in terms of finding his solutions and all those kinds of things. The keys for us, between, say, Houston and this last game was him just getting tighter to people and getting up the field a little bit more into good spots. And I thought he was very good at that the other night, which, again, helped us a lot in transition moments. And those are the qualities that I think he can really bring to the table for us and help us to be a stiffer defensive group at times, and just use his physical confidence, his athleticism, and his one-on-one defending skills to help strengthen the group.
Yeah, and obviously this game right here, you guys can close out the series. What have you and the coaching staff been preaching about all week? What's for the message to the players? And you guys are headed to Colorado, obviously a tough place to play.
Just to be prepared for a high-intensity, highly engaging sort of match, I think it's always best to plan for a game that's going to be high intensity and physical, and where the opposition is going to come at you, and you can always adapt the other way. But I feel like it's always being ready for the most aggressive version of the opposition is critical. And so, especially when you have a team that has come off a tough loss and now they're at home, and potentially in a knockout game for them, then I think you got to always expect the fastest, most physical version of the opposition, and then work accordingly off of that.
Go ahead, Josh.
Thanks, Craig. Sorry about that. Juggling some balls over here. Question for you. One is John Nelson, after the game, sort of said, hey, it's going to probably be fun to watch the tape of this last game. I wanted to know sort of how that tape session went, and if you have to sort of protect against being maybe too positive, and maybe you said something, it's a little unusual to have a 5-0 win at this time of year.
Yeah, I think, whenever we review video, it's about here are the different phases of the game. These are moments when they pressed us. These are moments when they sat a little lower. Here are things that were useful and helped us to be successful on the day. And here are things that we need to be even more mindful of as we go into the next game and we play. So certainly when you win 5-0, you only give up one shot from a long ways away, and you control a lot of the possession with over 700 passes. There's a lot of positives to take away from a game like that, but there's a lot of realities, which is this won't be the same game when we go there, which we know because we just played it a couple weeks ago, where the conditions are going to be different, and the opposition's approach will probably be different. It's our job to create the context that we did the other night, to be able to, again, solve the problems and create uncertainties for them when we have the ball, and punish them when we have space and the opportunities to attack. And defensively, it's about, again, I thought we were very connected as a group when in the moments that we needed to defend, and those are things that we're going to, again, have to continue to do, but at even a higher level and higher intensity as we play this game in Colorado.
And then a status update on Amiro.
Yeah, everybody's good. Everybody's trained this week, and I don't suspect any issues with anyone.
Thanks, Greg.
Go ahead, John.
Thanks. Greg, two quick ones. First one, from outside as an analyst of the game, I was at the end a little bit kind of surprised and worried with some of the body language from Gabriel Peck. Any conversation with him? I know he's, a competitive guy, but kind of, like ring a bell to me.
Yeah, I think he was frustrated in a day where he had some opportunities and there were goals being scored that he wasn't able to score one. That's all I took from it. And there was a couple plays where I felt like he was overplaying himself a little bit to try to see if he couldn't get one, where maybe he could have laid it off to somebody here or there, but he was trying to impact the game and trying to get a goal. And I think he was happy for the win, but he was frustrated a little bit in himself and not being able to get on the scoreboard. I think that's something competitors do. If he was carrying that any longer and showing that against sort of the result, then I would have certainly a word with them. I think our conversation with the whole group is make sure that we're taking the best solutions and making the best decisions in our final actions so that we can score goals. And that's for everybody. That's not just for Gabe. It's just in general. Let's make the best play at the end. But I think when attacking players sniff that the day has goals in it, they want to score. I've been around a lot of guys that, including Sebastian Giovinco and Josie and all those guys who, on days where they feel like it's there for them, they upset if they don't get something out of it. So I don't have an issue.
Yeah, the other one is piggyback a little bit from Josh's question in terms of the video session. In the preparation of the game, when a game like this, it's better to get more footage from a game recently where Colorado was stronger on you guys than on this game?
Definitely. I mean, for us, it's to look back at the last time that we played there. There were some scenarios inside of that game that we used going into our game here, but also that we have going into this game. That we want to have solutions to those types of situations, and so we try to prepare for everything. And as I said, you work off of what the day and the context of the day and what the opposition is trying to bring, but we try to work off of all the different scenarios or solutions that we think they may have on their side. If they do something completely different, then we have to end game adapt. But we try to prepare for as many solutions as possible.
Thanks, Rick.
And one final question by Daniel Leah.
Hey, Greg. Thank you for your time. I would like to ask you, how difficult is for you as a head coach to prepare a game for Friday, especially after the result on Saturday, like avoiding the trap of overconfidence in your team? And for you as a project, we have Emiro with us recently, and for you, the importance to have the backup of the general manager will support your project. I know the transition has been easy from the last two seasons, but having a project in the future when you have players like Emiro, Julian, Jalen, like to build a team not just for the next season, for the upcoming years.
Yeah, I mean, trying to remember the first question. What was the first one? I had an answer ready to go.
Friday playing.
Preparation. Yeah, I think one of the things that I'm banking on with this group, and I think it's true, is we had a tough result against Houston just a little over a week ago, and so the guys remember real quick that nothing is given, especially in this league and especially on the road. And so I think the concentration, the focus on the group is not about overconfidence. It's going to be about the day, and again, like I keep saying, it's about solving the problems of the day and being able to find solutions inside the game that's going to come to them on Friday. And so our preparation has been around that. I think it's important that we take confidence, but I think it's important that our confidence is based on our ability to understand what the solutions are and how we're going to go win this game and what we need to do it. And so, as far as Will and the project, one of the things I think is really important inside this league and for teams that have success is when there's a common sort of vision for where we're going as an organization, and that everybody is working together on that. Having Will and the guys upstairs that do the scouting and they have done the work to help us find those players and bring those players, and working with our staff and myself saying it starts with here's the vision for how we want to play, and here's the vision for each of these positions and the skill sets that we want to put on the field in these positions and how these puzzle pieces are going to fit together. And their job is to go in and search this huge world to find the players who fit our vision for the game, our vision for those positions, the pieces we feel that are going to fit together, who have the right character for our team, and that we can afford based off of the constraints of MLS. And so they have a ton of work to do on their side. We have the work to do on our side, but there's a pure collaboration and a belief and a vision that is very common amongst us as to where we are and where we want to be. And I think once you have everybody on that same page and working together, then the fruits of the labor tend to be more efficient and more effective. And I think that's a position that we are in right now. Is the guys that we have brought in have really helped this team to improve and to fit in the vision and the style that we've wanted to play. And they're great guys, and they fit in our locker room too, which is a huge part of it. So we got to keep doing that as a group and keep collaborating for the vision and the project to keep growing and being successful.
All right, thanks for your time, Greg.
Okay, thanks everyone.